This podcast is brought to you by Key for Her. Whether you're feeling the effects of menopause or your menstrual cycle, discover what's key for you in less than 5 minutes. With tailored supplement recommendations, information and insights on keyforher.com.
Hi, I'm Renee.
And I'm Donna. Welcome to the Key for Her podcast.
In this series, we aim to educate and open up honest conversations with both medical professionals and real-life women.
We want to shine a light on those topics that sometimes go unspoken about and help empower women to know what is key for their health and well-being. Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Key for Her podcast. Today, Renee and I are going to discuss Renee's journey with perimenopause so far and the extra things that she's added to her toolbox to help with her perimenopause symptoms. Hi, Ren.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. We haven't just done one where it's just you and I in a while. So
we've been dying to have this particular episode. We're trying to make sure our mics are working and
our Madonna mics.
Our Madonna mics that we have on at the moment. Yeah, so we're going to talk all about my perimenopause journey so far.
We're going to talk all about your toolbox.
My toolbox. That's what we said last night. My perimenopause and menopause toolbox and what everyone needs to have in their toolbox.
Yeah. And like you've had in-depth conversations with Dr. Cleaver Hartley over the last few months. It's been really, really informative and eye-opening, I'm sure, for you, me, the team, and also so many women that are watching and listening to the podcast every week. So tell us about the last few months, the last few years. I suppose maybe go back to the beginning of when you thought something wasn't quite right.
Yeah.
I think that's a good place to start.
Something wasn't quite right. Bring it back to the age of 37. That was 5 years ago. I'm 42 now. And I can actually put an actual day on it. It was the morning after the Taylor Swift concert when she did her concert in Croke Park. And I woke up the next morning after it and I had this really bad pain in my bladder. And I just felt so sick. There was so much pain there. I threw up and I thought I had some sort of...
and it didn't feel like a period pain or anything. What did it feel like?
No, it was just really kind of low down, but different. It felt like it was in my bladder. So I said, oh my God, I have a really bad bladder infection or a UTI or something. It didn't actually hurt to pee, but it was just really sore. So when I got home, I booked in with the doctor and they said, no, you're fine. We don't see any abnormality here. And I just thought, okay, I just brushed it off as, okay, I was sick. But then it kind of started happening more often and I couldn't understand why it was happening. Went to the doctor again. I said, I seem to be having these symptoms of a kidney infection or a UTI. Something's not right in my bladder. And they sent me off for tests. I went off, saw a consultant and even had a camera put up my urethra. To have a look and they were like, no, your bladder looks really nice, it's all healthy. And I was there, well, that
so were you getting this
anything.
Pain constantly? Was it coming and going?
It was kind of coming and going and I just didn't know what it was. And they said there's no infection there, nothing is showing up, you don't need an antibiotic. And I was like, okay. So I was confused and this was kind of going on for quite some time. And then after a while I realized that if I drank any alcohol or if I had any fizzy drink or if I had any amount of coffee, that it made it really happen the next day. I'd wake up the next morning and my bladder would feel really, really full and sore. And I said, okay, right, because I like to listen to these little signals that my body is trying to tell me and I'm trying to work them out. Okay, what's this trying to tell me? So it turns out that I said, right, I don't feel great when I'm having something that's really acidic. And the night of that Taylor Swift concert, I had a really large Diet Coke. We had gone out for food after, and it just didn't register with me at all. So fizzy drinks are quite acidic. But anyway, that went on for a few years, and it got to the point where I wasn't even much of a big drinker, but I just kind of stopped. I wouldn't even have a couple
because it wasn't worth it.
Wasn't worth it. I'm sure you know that, like on our nights out, I'll be there. Yeah, I'll just be here with my water. Thanks very much. But it just wasn't worth it for the pain I was going to have the next day. So
you were fine. Say if you had a few drinks, it was the next day that you would feel it, was it? Was it, did it become worse over time?
I'd start to feel it if I had even one drink and I'd said something in my bladder feels weird. And but then I'd really feel it the next day, and I said, I don't really mind. It's not a big deal, but I suppose it's something that other people mightn't be correlating that, one is linked with, can be linked with.
So that was just the kind of the start of something. So it was bladder irritability. You felt like you'd had to make certain lifestyle changes to try and balance that out. And when you cut the acidic drinks out, did it definitely help?
Definitely helped. But it was still kind of low level there. And I was, rushing to the toilet to go for a wee.
Okay.
These bladder symptoms were starting, and I thought, oh yeah, it's just because I've had 2 kids or whatever. Does this just happen to everybody? But these bladder symptoms were kind of the start. But then I had noticed, my skin was starting to go really dry. My periods were a bit more irregular, a little bit.
Skin dry where? Is it just
even on my
itchy
face,
or
everywhere, itchy, dryness. My hair was thinning slightly as well. What else? A bit of brain fog. And I noticed that the PMS was just off the charts. And
I was noticing that as well.
Yeah. I'd be calling Donna crying again on the phone. What's happened?
I'm your PMS is getting extreme.
Donna would know my dates off by heart, and she'd be like, okay, here it goes again. So I had noticed these myself, but I still didn't recognize that they were perimenopause symptoms until one day. I think I was looking at something that Davina McCall had put up, and she was talking about tingly fingers as well and itchy ears. And I was like, oh my God, the penny just dropped. And I suppose part of the reason why I didn't want to think that I was in perimenopause was because I had this preconceived idea that being in perimenopause or menopause meant you were older. It was something that happened when you were over 50, and that wasn't me, because I had never had a hot flush and I'd never had night sweats or anything. So I just thought that wasn't me.
Well, that was all the education and all the information that was available at the time. It was, it happens in and around 50 and it's called menopause and you get hot flushes and that's it. But actually over the last few years, we've been part of this sort of revelation of information for women,
and a
revolution.
And
a revolution, sharing and the knowledge that this can happen while you're still very young. You were 37. I am 38 now. So I'm on a fast track towards it, I'm sure, over the next few years. But
welcome. We'll welcome you with open arms.
And I feel positive about it because I am armed with information. I'm armed with solutions, and I'll be armed with everything you have in your toolbox.
I feel happy for you. I feel happy that we can help other people, because I was a few years dealing with those symptoms, not knowing what they were. And I felt just like a bit of a hypochondriac. And I knew that wasn't me. I didn't know why these were happening to me. And I just felt like it wasn't me. And I feel like if we help a few people, isn't that brilliant, that they don't have to go through what I went through, and that they know what it is so much easier, and that they can, really look like that in their menopause or perimenopause toolkit and say, what's in my toolkit now that I can look at?
Or that's not working and this is
show them all the options that are available, be it, a combination of everything, looking at your sleep and your exercise and your nutrition and stress management. Just those 4 things are really important, easy kind of wins that you can do anyway yourself. Adding in key supplements, to help you fill in any nutritional gaps, and then chatting to your doctor to see if HRT is right for you, because it could be life-changing for some people.
And that's, I think, what I've seen and learned a lot over the last while is that no one way is the way to go. You have
Yeah.
to try different things, but you need to have a bit of a pick a mix, like a toolbox, like we said, of different things that help with, you know, an array of whatever you're going through, whether it be like collagen or it's, you know, herbs or it's acupuncture, which is, you know, huge studies behind it now to be really effective, or it's HRT, and maybe HRT doesn't suit you. And so what are your other options?
Oh,
so
one other thing, Ethan, do you know what else needs to be in everyone's toolbox? A bottle of eye drops, and maybe even 2 of them, because the dryness can happen throughout your body, not just on your skin, but like my eyes. I was waking up for years with dry eyes, and I had no idea that that was because of a lack of estrogen.
Yeah. So think of a cactus.
I was fairly prickly, all right.
Yeah, you need to have a lot of things in your toolbox to help with that dryness, whether it be skin or other areas that you get dryness. Eyes, a lubricant is really important for when you're older as well. So these things are all important to talk about, and they're minor symptoms at the beginning, and like you never think maybe dry skin, and then a little bit that it gets so dry it starts getting itchy, and then you're getting itchy on the inside of your ears, and then it's all part of perimenopause, right?
Yeah, it's all part. I'm lucky though that I haven't had a problem with sleep. Sleep was always good for me. I feel like I felt always good with my supplements. You know, my energy was good and my sleep was good. But I felt that, like, having spoken to Dr. Quiva so many times on the Key for Her podcast, that, you know, she's a menopause expert, and it opened my eyes to thinking about giving HRT a go and giving it a really good go before I said it to anyone that I was doing it, so I could really give a proper review and tell my experience of how I got on with it, because I know it mightn't suit everybody, but I am willing to try anything just to make myself feel better. And for it personally, I wanted to try it a bit sooner and not wait until things possibly got much worse before I started it. So the first thing I started was vaginal estrogen, and I actually have it here beside me. So this is going to be, I think it's already available over the counter in the UK, and hopefully I think they're working on trying to get it over the counter in pharmacies in Ireland as well. So with vaginal estrogen, it's because it's localized, it's used literally just in the vagina, that it actually helps your bladder as well. And it's
so this is the one you went for
first,
obviously, with all of your bladder issues. So tell us the basics. Bring it forward.
Tiny. It's how you can see. It's like
you've shown me this. Yeah,
it's like a little tiny pencil, and it has a tiny little tablet up the top. It's like a tiny tampon, I suppose.
It's like quarter the size of a tampon. Like, it's like a pencil size. It's
pencil size, and it basically has a tampon, or sorry, it has a tiny little tablet there, and you insert that vaginally. You start off with taking it for 10 days. It's like,
how do you know if the tablet's gone in?
Well, it's not on the top of the thing when you take it back out again.
Perfect. Just to clarify the situation.
Don't.
If it's not there when you take it out, you've done it correctly.
You've done it right.
Is there a click or anything?
Kind of, yeah. I suppose there is a click. Yeah, it's a tiny little click on it, so you know that it's gone in. But that was actually amazing, because I can't curse, but like, I shit you not, it worked in 2 days.
Really? On your bladder?
On my bladder. And this was the one symptom that I'd started with, and I just couldn't believe how quick it worked. And I just felt my tummy just go,
oh, the relief.
Wow. And I said, oh my God, why didn't my doctor tell me about this years ago? Like, I really wish that they had pushed me at the time.
And why didn't they? Because you were in there, right?
I was in there, and she said, how are your periods? And I was there, grand. Any hot flushes? I said, no. And then it was never spoken about again. And
Nice.
I wish she had pushed me on it at the time.
It's not her fault though. Like the guidelines weren't out then, and it was also all very basic.
Yeah, and like I was only 37, and I was like, yeah, it's fine. So yeah, I tried that, and I thought, okay, wow, this is working. So I was on that maybe for about a month, and I said, right, I'm a bit more curious. I want to see what else, where else I can go with this. So off I went to the doctor again, and I said, I really want to try my other options with HRT. So I managed to have them here. Where is it? So I got my estrogel, which comes like in a pump, and every time you pump it, it gives out one measured dose of estrogen.
And what size is the measure?
Don't know. Like it's a
pump, just to like a.
Oh, what size? It's about the size of a euro coin.
Okay, and where do you put it?
A clear gel, and you can put it on your upper arm, either arm. I swap arms, like I put it on at nighttime, or else you can put it on your thigh as well. But depending on what your doctor says, you only go with the amount of pumps that your doctor says. Don't start giving yourself extra, because that could have a negative, side effect. So just stick with what they say at the start. And then they gave me the progesterone soft gel. I just took that at nighttime for the last 2 weeks of my cycle. So I take it from around day 14 up to about day 28.
And are you with the vaginal estrogen? Did you stop that when you went on the rub-in ones?
No, you take that for the rest of your life. So there was a loading period of 10 days, and then I take it on a Tuesday night and a Friday night. I just have that in my phone that I do that.
For the vaginal one?
Yes. Yeah, I use
that. So you have a busy schedule.
I do. Oh, no, I'll give you a laugh. We were at the 3 Arena, which is like, it takes about 10, 15,000 people. And we were there for Brian Cox. He's this guy that talks all about space. And I'd brought my husband, and he was there talking all about space, and the place was completely quiet. And I had my phone on silent, because I was like, yes, everyone has to have their phone on silent. But then my HRT alarm goes off at 10 o'clock in the middle of this, where it's completely silent. And it's like, dee, dee, dee.
Oh,
and
no.
Ferg's like, shut your thing off. Little does Brian Cox know that your HRT alarm is going off in the middle of an event in the 3 Arena, and everyone's
oh my God,
a
great way to remind yourself though to set alarms on your phone.
Yeah,
because I'd say it's really very easy to forget, especially if a few things.
I think at the start, when I heard other people talking about HRT, I said, oh no, I can't do that, because it all sounds too complicated. But literally, as soon as you do it for a week, you're like, oh, I totally get it. You're in this little routine, and you're in your flow. And like,
let's talk about your routine in a few minutes. I just want to know what else you're on, and then we'll talk through your daily Toolbox routine for perimenopause. Yeah,
I'm on this little progesterone tablet. I only take that for 14 days out of the entire month. And
it's a little capsule, is it?
It's tiny. It looks like a little soft gel. It's a bit like an omega-3. So I take that at night time. But I noticed that if I made sure that I had a little bit of food in my stomach, it didn't make me nauseous. I felt a tiny bit nauseous at the start. And it was all these little things that I just learned when I was starting. But the side effects that I've had are extremely small, and they were only just getting used to it. And
what were the side effects? Just a bit.
I felt a bit sicky. It felt a tiny bit nauseous the next day from the progesterone, and the pharmacist said you can insert it vaginally. And I tried that, and I was like, it's just kind of hard going. It's a bit messy. So I did.
I won't go ask you more about that detail.
It was, you don't want to know. But anyway, what I did was I made sure I had a little bit of food beforehand.
Yeah.
And then took it. And I haven't been queasy at all since. It's like my body just got used to it. And it's all good. So I did that for 3 months. The estrogen gel, I have the Vagifem, which is the vaginal estrogen, and also the progesterone. And then after the 3 months, I went back for my review, and she took my bloods then again. So we have a marker as to where I am, just overall health-wise. Yeah. And did my cholesterol and blood pressure and all that sort of stuff. And I said to her then, I said, I've seen the benefits of testosterone as well for women, because in case whoever's listening doesn't know, women have testosterone in their body as well, and that can get depleted as well through perimenopause, and it can affect different things like libido or your mood or your overall kind of feeling of
Va-va-voom.
Va-va-voom, like get up and go and feeling good. Like, so I feel like
it's like your mojo one, is it?
It is. It's just kind of feeling like, woo, yeah. Like, I don't know. I just feel like it worked after maybe 4 or 5 days. I kind of woke up and went, yeah, I'm raring to go.
I know, you called me that day. I was like, wow.
She sounds excited.
You're like, I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling so good.
Yeah. And I was like, is this how men feel every day? This is not fair. No.
Apparently we have like more testosterone. It's just lesser amounts. Do you know what I mean? Like we have more in our body than a guy does.
Oh no, than estrogen. So we have more testosterone than we have estrogen. It was just that like we talk about estrogen more. So this is what Quiva was saying. And when I take my pump of my testosterone gel, it's only 1 pump, whereas men would get 4 or 5. You know, so you're only getting a small amount. But I did feel that it has this, I have this feeling of just, and a lot of people say it like this, a feeling of just well-being. You feel really good and well in yourself and just happy. And like, you're just there, yeah, I can take on anything and nothing.
Yeah, it's a mojo vibe for sure. Like, and I feel like as we get older, we kind of tend to lose that. And it would make sense as testosterone is depleting in our body over time, you know? So that's very interesting that you, and within 5 days, was it?
5 days. Now they do say it was starting to work after about 5 to 7 days, but they do say it can take kind of 2 to 3 months to kick in. It's not the same for everybody. And some people think that HRT is this magic fix and that you can just slap it on and you'll be like, yay. It's subtle and it takes its time to start working, but just don't mess around with it and stick to the guidelines and, you know, just use it, set your little alarms and then you'll get used to it. And I feel like I really like doing it every evening because I just know I'm doing something good for myself and then do my little bit in the morning. But yeah.
What happens if you just stop using it? Don't know.
I won't be telling you that. I don't really know. I know there are some people that have to stop using it because it doesn't suit them. And I know that Dr. Quiva had said that she generally has a preference for the gels rather than a tablet or a patch because they're more easy to adjust. And also with the gels, they go in through your skin. So instead of taking it in a tablet form, you don't have to take it in a tablet to get your liver to process it. Your liver doesn't have to process it. So by using the gel, you're able to just put it on your skin. It's absorbed through your skin and it doesn't have to go through your liver, you know, to get into your system. So it's actually safer.
So just in terms of like finances and a woman having, if she decides to take this route and add this to her toolbox, what is she talking monthly? If she's going to be on this pretty much for the rest of her life, it's a big commitment. It might be good just to talk about how much it costs.
Let me see, because I have something here on my desk. I have these these forms from the pharmacy, so I can actually tell you exactly what it was costing.
So this is an Irish pharmacy. We're talking about Irish prices in euro, yeah?
Yeah. So it was €13.63 for the estrogen gel. It's €16 for the progesterone capsules. So this is for a month. The Vagifem costs just under €10.
It's really affordable.
Yeah, it is affordable. Now, she did say the testosterone gel was $68.72. And she said that is expensive. So
which one is that now?
The testosterone gel. And so what she said was, because my prescription was coming to over was it €80, I think, for the DPS scheme?
Right.
80. So she said, if you sign up for this DPS scheme, I think it's DPS, mydps.ie. And if your prescriptions for your household, so that includes your children up to 18 or up to the age of 23, if they're still in college, your household will only pay €80 a month maximum for all of your prescriptions. So she had told me about this and I said, this is great. I think a few years ago, it used to be over €100, 120 or 30, but the government have brought it down. So now your prescriptions won't be over €80 as far as I'm aware, which is
That's
pretty
brilliant.
good, because if someone wanted to add in the testosterone gel, it can really increase the cost of your prescription, but and the fact that it does help you feel well. I think it's a nice one to add in if you can discuss it, whatever, with your doctor. But I just think it's a good one to know about, that there is this scheme where you don't have to pay over this €80 at the pharmacy every month for medications that are already pre-cleared.
Yes.
Yeah.
We talked a lot before about HRT and the studies that were performed around HRT in the past, and there was a lot of stuff in the press a long time ago that caused a generation of women to be terrified of HRT. And you need to go back and listen to our other podcasts, especially Dr. Caoimhe Hartley. And it's talked about in detail, and there really is so much more information now around HRT and how it is actually very safe to use.
Yeah.
And that the percentages of it being linked to breast cancer are actually minimal. So do check out our other episodes if that's something that you want to know more about or are aware of and is putting you off HRT. But then we have a whole heap of women who go to their doctor, and unfortunately HRT is just not for them.
Yeah.
So
didn't work, suit. Yeah.
Doesn't suit them, can't take it, or they've just decided HRT is not for me. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't have to be because of what they've heard. It's just a decision that they make. They want to just go with a natural perimenopause or menopause. And we have a lot of women, especially who are our customers, who are taking that route and are very successfully navigating their menopause journey with different things in their toolbox. Yeah. They're just all natural. So I suppose maybe if you could have a little chat about that, and you're talking to the customers every day as well, and I think it's just important that we discuss that, because there just seems to be so much around HRT that I think that it can almost get too much of the noise, whereas there's a lot of other things that you can do to really, really help feel better also.
Yeah. Well, one thing that we do say to our customers is that, nothing is just a quick fix.
Yeah.
You need to look at it as a multi-pronged approach, a holistic approach. And it's, not one tablet or one gel or one thing is just going to fix everything.
And half the time it's about listening to your own head as well, and getting in a really good, because it's a whole new space in your life, a new place, a new experiences.
It's time to put self-care. And if it wasn't high on your priority list, you're going to be forced to put it high on your priority list, because you will be forced to do it, because you'll end up, you could end up feeling awful. Now, not everyone has really bad perimenopause symptoms. There's a percentage of women that just literally sail through it and they're like, yeah, blip, didn't even notice. Oh, look, my periods have stopped. But for 80% or 85% of women, it's quite different. So, the holistic things like prioritizing your sleep and just getting to bed and, making sure you're comfortable and putting the phone away and making sure you're getting that good quality sleep, to manage your stress levels. And, there's little meditations that you can do on YouTube, or maybe you just want to get out for a walk and listen to a podcast and just get that headspace for yourself, because it's so I think it's so important to manage your stress levels, because if you don't manage them throughout the month, by the time, that time comes around just before your period, your PMS could be like off the charts. And a lot of that is to do with how stressed you are.
And it's all building up. And if you don't find ways kind of
to deal with
have an outlet, or, it does build up, and these things are important to nip in the bud. And like you said, find ways for self-care, whether it is a walk. Do you know what I started doing? Actually, it was a few weeks ago. My partner, he noticed that I was quite stressed, and I was just, he obviously thought that I needed to chill out. So he did me up a bath and put candles all around.
So nice.
I swear I haven't done that since I was like, before I had kids and I had loads of time for myself. But this is the reality. You're so busy looking after so many other people, and work, or, life is just very stressful these days. But to take a half an hour or 45 minutes in a bath for yourself on a Thursday night, you just feel fantastic when you wake up on Friday.
And you kind of go, why the hell?
You sort of melt into it
more often. Yeah.
And you don't realize how stressed you are until you do something like that. You go, why don't I do this more often? And I didn't do it. I was meant to do it this weekend. I'm going to make myself do that tonight now, because that's obviously a little outlet for me. And, I don't recognize that bathroom as a place of relaxation because it's covered in toys and Barbies. And everything. Yeah. And if you turn down the lights and put on a couple of tea lights, you can just pretend that all that stuff isn't around you. And there are a few bubbles in. It changes the game. But it is reducing the stress and getting yourself in a good sleep pattern. And it really is an effort of putting away the phone and maybe replacing that with a book.
I think, doing things like that for yourself. When you're doing the weekly shop, don't go starving. Go with some food in your tummy so you don't end up buying the entire shop. Because the healthy version of me, when the healthy version of me goes and does the shop, I'm like,
you did a TikTok on that. Is so funny.
Yeah. And if you buy the healthy food, you kind of have no option but to eat the healthy food. But if you go to the shop and you're ravenous, you'll end up buying the entire sweet aisle and every sugary carb thing going. And now, I'm all for having a bit of chocolate, and we have to be able to have our treats and stuff.
Yeah.
Except we need to look at our nutrition more closely and look at foods that we're actually going to get nutrients and vitamins and minerals and fiber from.
That's not the way that most women of our generation look at food.
They're like, shut up, I want something sweet. Yeah. Give me a cup of tea.
Or we calorie count, and we just look at food as not in
numbers
in the right way, because we were trained to calorie count. It was on all the magazines. It was just the way we learned. And, it was all be skinny or whatever. But actually, food nourishes us from the inside. And if usually, you're having skin problems or whatever, there's stuff going on inside, you're nutrient deficient, in some probably a few things, and you're completely unaware.
I also think that a lot of women don't realize the power of fiber in their diet, and they're probably like, whatever. But the more fiber you're getting in the form of whole fruits and vegetables, the more your gut is going to be happier, and you're just going to make sure that you go to the toilet once or twice or 3 times a day. Make sure you're getting enough water, because when you're going regularly, your body is also getting rid of processed hormones that have already been used, and you want to get them out of the body. So if you are someone that tends to be constipated, you need to up your fiber.
I have completely upped my fiber the last few weeks, and my water, and the difference in my skin. But between the fiber, the water, and the collagen, sure, I look 20.
Yeah, I know we do. I actually love when people say comments on it, going, "Oh, girls, you look so great down there."
Thanks. It's collagen.
It's the collagen. It's the key supplements. It's kind of like a holistic thing. It's like, what's in our little toolbox to help us feel
Everyone
better.
says, it is holistic, but it's also looking at what you're putting in is going to represent what you look like on the outside, for sure.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. So I think they're important as well. I've gone off a little bit on track. What was your actual question?
I don't know where we were.
Self-care and minding ourselves, but and taking our supplements every day. Like I am like I do it religiously.
Yeah, tell me your routine. But okay,
Yes.
we're here. We are now, Renee, getting out of bed. So
Getting
what's
out of
going
bed.
on? Are you still doing the eye drops when you wake up?
They're not as bad now, I must say. I'd like like if I had left them in another room, it's not like I'm kind of going, where the hell are they? So I was actually only thinking of it there this morning, haven't used the eye drops in a while. So that's
And how is your
positive.
energy level in the morning?
Energy's good. Energy's good now. I must say, I love my husband. He brings me up a coffee in the morning.
You're very lucky.
And
I actually get that as well.
Yeah. It's one of my favorite things of the whole day, because I don't like to jump out of bed and all of a sudden be on a high stress level. I just like to kind of merge
ease
into
your
it,
way in.
ease my way into
That's
it.
That's good.
Yeah, I like it. It keeps the old stress levels low, and I'll do the odd little 5-minute meditation on the phone, there's ones that
while you're still sitting there in the bed, or
yeah,
okay.
I love it. I'll just have my coffee and then do that.
Jeez, you have a great morning. I normally wake up with my little one. Rah!
You see, I've done all that years ago.
Jumping up and down at me. You're at a different phase now.
They're already they're getting themselves ready at this stage, so that's grand. But I'll get myself ready and ready for work, and hair and makeup and that, and then I'll start work, and then I'll have my supplements. Then because I'm on key.
When you start work.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I tend to keep them on my desk, but I know that if it's the weekend, I don't want to forget. So I have a box on my desk, and I actually have a box in the kitchen. But I always say that to everyone, you need to leave them out where you can see them so that you stay consistent. And if you're the type of person that's going to forget to take your supplements,
so what supplements do you take then in the morning
I'm on key, peri, and menopause. I'm on the yellow
one
box.
of each.
One of each, a yellow one and a white one, because that has everything that I need. And also I have my box of collagen here, key collagen.
God, it's such a difference to you 10 years ago, and you had 20 different boxes and bottles. It's actually so streamlined now, isn't it?
So streamlined. I used to be at the health store all the time, saying, right, I'm out of my vitamin D, I'm out of my magnesium, I need to get more vitamin C. And it was so frustrating. And I'm so glad.
And then you were on to a new thing here and there, and it was just crazy. So you have your Key Peri Plus Menopause yellow and white tablet. And what else do you have? Your Key Collagen.
My Key Collagen as well. Yeah. And I love that this tastes so nice. And we get a lot of great reviews on the taste of it as well.
So you're not on any medication apart from taking the HRT now, yeah?
I'm on my HRT. I do still take my thyroid tablet as well, but that's it. That's it. And I feel really good. I feel
you look really good.
Something has lifted, and I just feel like when you're in this nice little routine and it works for you, I just think,
to be honest, working with you every day as well, I've noticed you're more at peace with yourself.
Yeah.
Just over the last few years, noticing that things were changing for you, and then the steps that you took,
embrace it. To embrace it
and to also find solutions. And you went out, and like me, went out, and that was our mission, And now we're just helping so many other women. Oh my God, did you see that trust violet that came in this morning from a lady? It's so long.
Oh, the really long.
I was going to try and read it out on TikTok, but it was so long.
I've done it on TikTok. It's a full 3 minute TikTok. I read it out, and she has PMDD.
Inspiring.
Yeah, it is inspiring. Totally. I read it out and I couldn't believe it. There's been times where it's actually brought tears to my eyes that we were actually helping so many people. And one other thing, I think it's really important, and I know that we keep talking about it, and hopefully we're inspiring other women to have these conversations with their friends. You need to talk to your friends about this, because I'm telling you, they have the symptoms and they might just not be saying it, and be like, oh, I don't have that. Yeah, they do. They have something. There's so many symptoms that there could be. If you're close to or over 40, you need to start having these conversations. They can, these symptoms can be happening
And if you don't have someone who's that you feel like close to,
talk to us.
I was going to say that you can talk to us. We're everywhere online. You'll find us somehow, and send us an email. Seriously.
I love having the chats with all our customers.
Yeah, or you can talk to your doctor. A lot of them are getting better training now in menopause because the government are supporting information sharing about menopause and to eliminate the silence that's been going on. So there is huge advancements and a revolution happening around you. So please don't feel like you're on your own. If any of this is resonating with you from the podcast today, make sure that you reach out to somebody or us, or just start making steps towards feeling better if these are, if this is really affecting you.
Also talk to your partner or husband, and some women might think that if they talk to him or her, that they might feel that they're less sexy or less of a woman because they think that, oh, they're thinking I'm getting old and that I'm not the same me that I used to be.
It's more unsexy if you've lost your libido and you feel it,
you're not talking about it,
bad about yourself, that you're not talking and they're thinking it's them. Then you have serious problems issue. And relationships hit really hard time, especially when there's no communication through menopause. And it is a time where you feel like you want to retract a bit more, but actually probably the best thing you can do is to try and open up and have conversations about how you're feeling, because that's when you can you can look to making steps towards helping yourself and feeling better.
Yeah, I think so. And having these conversations, if my kids hear me talk about perimenopause, menopause so much, like it's open, random conversations at the dinner table now. It's just water off a duck's back. And it's great that these conversations are being had, because it means that they're going to be more informed for when they're older.
It's
and
brilliant.
For their friends and partners and that as well. You know, it can make a big difference.
For sure. I was in the car and we put the radio on and they were talking about perimenopause, and Bella just turned to me, "Keep her on the radio," as because she only associates that word with me.
She's menopause. Like, "Mommy, are you famous?"
Hilarious. Yeah. But yeah, it is and a very confusing time when you're entering into it, but that's why we're here. And there is so much support and information there. And like Renee, buy a box, get some tools if you're starting to feel it, and start trying different things.
Yeah.
And like what we discussed is just some of the options. You know, there are just so many things and ways you can help yourself.
And some of the symptoms, like I know the symptoms can be wildly different for other people, like itchy ears can be a thing. Anxiety that's just come out of nowhere, like anxiety driving is another thing. That is one thing that I'd noticed over the last couple of years. Driving at night, I just didn't want to do it, or trying to merge on the M50 and all of a sudden I'd feel like I'm scared. And I'm like, why am I scared? This is irrational. Renee, stop this. And I couldn't understand why I was feeling like this. So, you know, look up the symptoms. We talk about them all the time on TikTok, on Instagram as well. That look them up and see, do any of them resonate with you? You don't necessarily have to wait for hot flush or night sweat, or to have no period.
And maybe it's just at the beginning, you know, all you need to do is some self-care. And definitely the best place to start is to looking at your nutrition. Definitely. And how you're feeding your body, because what's going in is usually, you know, a representation of how you're feeling. So I think that's so important as a first step.
And if the nutritional gaps, because so many women are lacking in magnesium, in vitamin D, your B vitamins, and if they're low, you're not going to be feeling good. Anyway, your symptoms could feel so much worse. So if you start with nutrition, you could start with a supplement like this, and with the collagen as well, if you want to, as well, to help improve your skin and fine lines and firmness of your skin too. But start with these little things. And what we always say is, don't wait until things get really bad to do something about it. Start it. The earlier you start it, the better. And just embrace it, you know? I think 100%. So anyway, and you know, you can feel better. We always say, if you have any questions, send us an email, hello@kieferher.com.
So what are your key tips for, your perimenopause, menopause toolbox, or this journey? What are your 3 key tips for this particular episode?
Okay. Number one is, like, I suppose if you're interested in HRT, you want to speak to your doctor. But my tip would be, just because you have a particular doctor that you've always gone to at your local doctor surgery doesn't mean that they're that well up on the information. What you can do is call the receptionist ahead, and you can ask them which doctor in that surgery has the most up-to-date training in perimenopause and menopause, and then book an appointment.
I love that. That's a really good idea.
You're going to be talking to someone who is open to it, because we all know there are some people that have contacted us and said they felt like they were being kind of stonewalled or hit by a brick wall.
I think the lack of being open about it is the lack of their education around it, and they're just not feeling confident enough to prescribe it. So yeah, that's a really good tip. Get in there first, ring the receptionist, make sure you're going to someone who has the experience. And if they don't waste your money. Go to someone who does.
And even if you have to go to a different surgery, you can go to that, but like making that first phone call, I think, could make all the difference. Because
we talked about this before as well, as women afraid to leave the doctor that they've been the family doctor for 20, 30 years.
No one cares.
No one cares. Go in and ask for your medical records and take that with you and go and find a doctor who can help you.
Yeah, if you're not happy with, like, maybe you're in a one horse town with like one random doctor and you're not happy with them, okay, fair enough, change. But if you can ask that receptionist, to recommend to you who is the doctor there with the most training, it puts them on the spot and makes them say, well, actually, so and so and so and so has done this course and that course. Maybe
it's such a menopause thing to do, isn't it? I want the top specialist here now.
Yes,
and
I do.
We're at that age in life where we don't care anymore.
Oh, I don't care anymore. Like,
we're just cut the bullshit. We were getting straight to the point here.
That is one of the positives, though.
No more beating around the bush. That filter goes.
The filter's gone. I don't give a hoot. And like, if I see something wrong or I want to say something, I'll just say it. Like, and I'm not scared anymore. Yeah.
And it's not being a Karen. It's just
being. You can be assertive without being rude.
Yeah. I think you just want to cut down the time for these things take by just being overly polite. I have suffered from that for years, and it's slowly going away. That just, actually, I'm here. I want to be heard, and this is for me, and this is my money that I'm spending. So I want to get what I need from this, rather than trying to people please. And I think that's a very cool new way of approaching things, especially for me now that I've found. So
yeah, this people pleasing is gone, and you just want to get shit done.
Yeah, like it's an actual scientific fact that filter goes away as you get older. Yeah, because I was watching this doctor say that, if you really said how you really felt when you were trying to find a partner and, make babies, it would have been a lot harder. We would have been a lot more honest.
Yeah. It's like, she's an L wagon. Goodbye. Yeah. Like, you're in that nurturing, pleasing kind of mode.
I'm over it. I'm so over it. I just want the best doctors to give me what I need and listen to me.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely true, I suppose. And number 2, what would I say is your self-care and your nutrition are really important.
Sleep,
and that, give yourself good nutrients so that you feel good on the outside. I think, like, it's really helped my hair growth as well, making sure I get those every day. And I just feel full of energy and I feel good. Like, I already felt full of energy with the supplements before I was even taking the HRT. The HRT helps in different ways. It helps with the lack of hormones, but the supplements will help with the lack of nutrients and to fill in any nutritional gaps that you might have. And even though, yes, we all try to have a healthy diet, sometimes we tend to eat the same kind of things because they're handy, and we end up lacking nutrients because we just happen to like the same things all the time. So I think that's an important one as well. talking as well. It's great to have the crack with your friends and laugh about it.
Sure, how this whole company, an idea was born, was from two friends that just were talking about mad stuff.
Yeah. And like Deirdre O'Kane, this amazing Irish comedian, if you've ever heard of her, like everyone has heard of her because she's like the queen of Irish comedy. And we went to her comedy show recently there, the two of us in Galway, and we were absolutely like crying our eyes out. Deirdre's hilarious.
So funny. Howling. The women were howling
because they were all resonating with so much with what she was saying. And she does, as part of her stand-up show, she does a full 25-minute set, basically taking the piss out of menopause and everything that it is. And it's just so funny. And that everyone can see themselves in it and they're laughing with it. And then there's husbands that are laughing at the wives. And if you have an opportunity to go and see her show, do, because it's really so funny. Good. It's a great girls' night out. I know she's a big night in the Olympia in January. It could be a really nice Christmas present to get for your friends. Get the girls together.
I know what I'm getting for Christmas anyway now.
You're going to see Deirdre again?
Oh, bring it on. What a great night out. And she's such a legend. She's so informed about menopause as well. So she's going through it herself and just a really inspiring person to have met. So definitely go and see her. But so that's just a very interesting, real conversation we just shared with you. And this is the sort of stuff that goes on behind the scenes and the reason that we found it key and we started this journey because we help each other and through that we're now able to help all you guys. So we will be back again soon. I'm not sure exactly what the next podcast is, but it's going to be, as you know, full of information and tips, tricks, hacks, whatever we can give you that will help you with your toolbox. And
how's your toolbox? Amazing? Isn't it amazing though that something that started from a conversation around my kitchen table has turned into us, and we're literally
Donna's
helping.
Extreme PMS.
No, but like we're
and
actually
your hair falling out.
Thousands of women, thousands of women, like, and you know, we're making a huge difference, and I think that's amazing. Like,
geez, I think we're going straight to heaven now after all this.
We are,
Right. Well, make sure to stay tuned for our next episode. Thank you so much for listening to us today, rambling on. But hopefully you learned something from it, and we helped in any way we can. And if you need us, we're always there. Just reach out on social or email or go on to keyforher.com. Ren and I are hands-on every day. If you want to watch us and our mad videos, you can go to TikTok. We share them also on Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah. And
anything else, Ren?
You want to send us an email and you want to reply from me, I'll more than likely get back to you. By
just
God,
give us like 24 hours because we are inundated. Lads, the whole thing has like gone crazy on us the last few months. So please be patient. We're trying to keep up with the demand.
Half the country are on key supplements. And then someone had sent me an email there today, and she said she was saying how good she feels on them, you know, her mood, sleep, energy. And she said her husband had noticed the difference, and he was telling her to make sure that she didn't run out.
There'll probably be loads of partners now ordering like the 3-packs now for Christmas.
Yeah, well, if it keeps everybody happy in the house, why not? So yeah.
Happy days.
Well, thank you so much for listening to us today, and we hope you felt that this might have been helpful or you got something from it. And if you could like and share it, that would be great.
Or tell your friends.
Great as well. Tell your friends, have an owl listen. And if you have any questions, let us know. And sure, we'll chat soon.
We'll be back soon. Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for joining us on the Key for Her podcast. We'd be so grateful if you could hit subscribe, rate, and share this podcast with your friends.
For tips, tricks, and hacks on all things perimenopause, menopause, periods, menstrual cycles, and skin health, follow us at Key for Her on TikTok and Instagram.
Check out our website, keyforher.com, for more information.